Excited to see all sorts of new faces for today. So thank you for coming. The people who are joining me today from my team are Mariah Donahue. She's our web marketing support manager, and Ashley Dill, our content specialist, and Diana Fiorentino, our internal comms manager. And I'm Julia Quinn-Siegel, I'm the director of digital comms and content strategy. So we have all met and pulled together some different pieces of how we use Drupal and how group admins can learn how to use them and Drupal editors. And to be honest, we have learned things along the way doing these sessions. So that's why they're really valuable for us and why we're excited to present the information to you. You'll all learn things that maybe you haven't known how to use, even if you've been in Drupal for a while. So this is our agenda for today. And what we're going to go over is a lot of things like photos and PDFs, excuse me. Sorry. So we find photos in Canto, which is our database of photos for WPI for the university. They're approved pictures. We'll show you how to get into that, how to search, how to do, once you're in there, how to upload photos to Drupal. And then there's a lot of different ways to take the different images because they come in all different sizes, how you can resize them, how you can use different photo shapes. You could, use a circle, a square, rectangle, those sorts of things, and how to size it appropriately so that the photo not only looks good and clean and clear, but also loads correctly so that when users are using our website, if they're on a mobile device or a desktop or a laptop or something like that, sometimes you'll see how a picture is blurry before it's clear. So if they're sized properly, that won't happen. So that's a really good thing to know about. There's also a lot of information about alternative text versus a caption for photos. The caption is what will appear so that people will see. The alternative text is what helps us meet our accessibility goals. So we'll explain a little bit more about that. We'll talk about the different blocks in Drupal that are designed for photos. There's a media pane. There's a difference between the body text block and how you use an image in there, media pane, a hero image, that kind of thing. Rotating highlight blocks. There are different ways to use images. Also, sometimes you have to replace your image. So we'll let you know how to do that. Remove one and replace it, or just remove it so that you don't have it on the site anymore if you need to do some updating. PDFs are another piece that can be kind of tricky. And I know people have a lot of trouble with that sometimes. So we're going to show you how to upload them, post them, and also with other documents in Drupal, just what you need to do. And then when there's time you need to replace the PDF, say it's an annual report or something, instead of just keeping the old one up there and putting up a new one, we'll show you how to replace it and remove it. And then we'll teach you a little bit more about adding and removing hyperlinks within blocks as well. So you're more than welcome to put any questions you have in the chat. If you want to save things till the end, depending on the time, we'll either address it immediately or we can wait till the end. So we'll see how we progress, but please ask any questions that you want because that's what we're here for today. And I'm going to hand this over to Ashley, who's going to tell you a little bit more about using Canto.
Thanks, Julia. I'm just going to share my screen. Okay, so when you need photos to use on the website, the place you're going to go is our photo database, which is Canto. So the easiest place to find that link is actually in the Marcom resources page. This is how it looks at the top. And then you want to be in the photography and video section. It's right here, the link. Now, if you're not logged into your WPI account already, you're going to get a page that looks like this. And you're going to make sure to click on the SSO login instead of the regular login because you're just using your WPI login. If you are already logged in, which I am, this is why I can't demonstrate it. If you click this link, it'll immediately take you to the Canto main page, which looks like this. Can you see the main page, Julia? Okay. So there's two ways to search now with Canto, which has actually really been helpful because sometimes you don't have a specific person or thing that you want to search for. You just need a picture of something specific that you want for your site. So the first way is to do it with the AI enabled. So you can see here in the search bar, it says AI enabled, the little brain is dark green. So that means it's AI the AI is set up for searching. So when you search it, you want to search something really specific, detailed, like large group of students on quad. And then you would hit enter, and then it's going to search things it thinks fits this description of what you're looking for. If you have something really specific you want to find, you might take a little bit of searching to go through it. You can be really, really specific, like 3 women and a man in an office, and see what they come up with. So there's different ways you can search for this. The way you want to use this is when you have a specific thing you want to find, but not necessarily like an actual person or thing or an event that you specifically need the photo from. It's just kind of like a general image of what you're looking for. The search terms can be really lengthy and detailed because this is AI, so use that to your advantage. So the other option is when you want to do AI disabled. So you're going to click on the AI enabled, and now it's going to turn into AI disabled. So you notice when I clicked it and I got rid of the AI, my description gave no photos because now it's not going to work like that. So when you want to use the disabled version, this is usually when you want to look for a specific place or a specific event that happened or a specific person. So if you want to do like campus center and you want photos just of the campus center, so it's going to bring up folders and photos that were tagged as being from the campus center. Or you want to search for a specific person that had their photo taken, you can do that as well. The key with the AI disabled, opposite from the AI enabled, is to keep it really simple search terms, like very basic, no extra words, because the more words you use, the more it's not going to give the results you want. There's a possibility, especially if there's maybe not the exact photo you want, you may have to search several times in a few different ways, try rewording things a bit, use different words, maybe simplify your search to get the photo you want. Keep in mind that the most recent photos are listed at the top. And then as you scroll, the older photos, as you can see, like it goes 2023, 2020. So the older they get for the folders. And then again, newest photos at the top for the ones that aren't listed in folders. And then as you go down, they get older. So what you also want to do when you are downloading a photo, which these are all links, so I don't want to use these. Okay, so here's like an example. If I click on this photo and I want it, I'm going to download it because I want to be able to upload it to my page that I want to use it on. So you're going to click on the top left area, the download button, which is the down arrow. And the best way to do this also is you want to go to the menu on the right that says file type, because this is going to pre-crop or size your photo how you want to use it. So as you can see here, if you click on this down menu, there are many different options. You can do a custom resize or a custom crop, but then there's also all these presets. So if you know you're going to be using it, say in a calendar event or the hero image that needs specific sizing. So like hero image, I click that. You can see how it's cropped the image to fit how it's going to fit as a hero image on the page. So you don't have to worry about like, how big do I want to make this? You can just have it done like that. You can also click either the crop or the resize, depending on like how big you need it. There's these presets down here. You don't necessarily have to do that. The crop is probably your easiest because it's based on how you're going to use it. So then you're just going to hit next, and it's cropping it. And then you're just going to hit download, and it should download right to wherever your downloads are or your desktop, whatever you have preset. So then from there, you should be able to use that photo how you need to use it. And so like that's kind of the main searching for it. It takes a little practice, I think, at times to search for photos, kind of learning how you want to put the terms in. but really go into the database with a kind of basic idea of like what you're looking for, which will make searching a lot quicker and easier as well. So that's it for photo searching. I will pass this on to Mariah now for using the photos.
Thank you, Ashley. I'll reshare my screen. All right, can we see our PowerPoint now? Yep, okay, thank you. So on the next slide, we also have a couple links. The first link goes to our PDF of Drupal image sizes. So as Ashley explained, we have the presets in Canto. If you know that you will be using an image for the hero image or all of our various blocks that we have available on the site. So this will tell you what dimensions you should have it set to, but Canto is really useful in just having those presets for us to download it that way. We also have a tutorial up on the CMS Help Desk YouTube channel for using the Adobe Express free image resize tool. So if you, in your Drupal editing, need to resize an image on your own that's not using the Canto presets, then you can follow that tutorial and use the dimensions in the PDF. All right, now let's get into Drupal. So first, I'll show you a couple different ways of uploading images in Drupal and then how to utilize them. So I'm going to go over into Drupal. Sorry, one sec. So I'm going to go over into Drupal, and then when I go up to my shortcuts, I have my content search, and what I want is the file search. In the file search, I'll see a button called Add Media. And if I click Add Media, then I have a few options here. We're going to start with an image. So I'll click Image. And then I can choose a file from my computer. And I've downloaded something from Canto that was sized for a hero image. So I'm going to choose the image and click Open. Now I'm prompted to add alternative text. Alternative text is used by screen readers and displayed when the image is not loaded, and this is important for the accessibility of all of our users, such as users who are not able to see the screen. So I will say that this is students walking on campus. You want the alternative text to be pretty brief, but also descriptive. So we have students walking on WPI campus. And then in the next field, we have a caption. The caption will be displayed wherever the image is brought in. So this is completely optional if you want a caption to be displayed underneath your image on your web page, or you can leave it blank. For demonstration, I'll add a caption here. And now that this is all set and publish is checked off by default, I'll click Save. Now you can see that the image is uploaded to the Drupal Media library. Now, if I go into a page, so I'm going to go to my content, my group, and I'll go to my page. Now I'm going to go into the layout and add this as a hero image. So I'll click Add Media. And from here, this opens the Drupal Media library, and I can upload the image that I've already added. So I will check it off, and then I will click Insert Selected. And once that's done loading, I'll come to the bottom and click Save. And now I've uploaded this image as my hero image for the page. And you can also see that the caption is brought in. Another way that we can add an image to a web page is say I forgot that I wanted to upload this image to the Drupal Media library, I can do it right from where I want to add the image. So let's remove our old one. And if I click Add Media, then I have the option again to choose a file from my computer. And I'll have the same fields that I had before in the file search. And then I'll click Save. And we can see that this is now added to the Drupal Media library and it's checked off by default. I'll click Insert Selected, Save, and here's my hero image. So a couple ways that you can go about it. And now we'll go into uploading a video. So we have the same options that we do for an image. So I'll go into File Search. I'll click Add Media, and I'll choose Remote Video. And you'll see that this has to be linked from a service such as YouTube or Vimeo. So let's call this my WPI video for the title for our media library and a video URL. So I'm going to go into the WPI YouTube and choose a video that I'd like to use and
As I'm in
copy
the mid-
link and paste the link into the video URL field. I have the option to tag it with some topics if I'd like. So find your place at WPI. Let's see. Say if this was a video about our staff members, then I can choose this and add it to our selected options. I also have the ability to add a caption. And I'll save it. And now my video is in the Drupal Media library. Again, I can do this from within a page. So let's go back into the page and I'll go this time into the layout. A very popular block to use for displaying a video on your web page is the media pane. So first I'll add a section, just a basic one column section. Now I'll click Add Block, then create a content block, and I'll choose Media Pane. I'll fill out some of the fields. And now down here, I can add media. Now over on the left-hand side, I have to choose Remote Video. And I can see my video here in the Drupal Media library already. So I can choose that and insert it. And now I see it in my block. And this will embed the video right into the page. It'll show any topics that I've tagged it with, if applicable, and the caption. Again, just like with the images, we have another option. So if I added the media pane, and I chose Add Media, and again, if I chose Remote Video on the left-hand side, I can provide a YouTube URL. So let's choose a different one. I'll use the next one. Copy the link, bring it over into Drupal, and I can add it to the media library from here. Now here's my video. I will insert it into the block. And let's, for fun, change the background color of this media pane. I'll add the block, and here's my second media pane. So there are videos. So I also demonstrated how to upload an image from the layout builder. So let's play around with a couple extra blocks. So a very popular one is the highlight box. So we've already seen the hero image, we've seen the media pane. Now let's go into the highlight box. So I'm gonna look at my Drupal image sizes guidelines here, and I'm gonna look for highlight box. So here it is right here. So I want my image to be 500 by 300, but I'm gonna go into Canto. And I asked the AI-enabled search to give me some photos of a group of students walking on the quad. And now let's say I like this one. And I'll click on the download button. Again, over in the file type, I'll say that I want this to be a highlight photo or box. And this will crop and resize the image for me. Awesome. Now I'll go into the layout of my page. I'll scroll down, I'll add a new section. Again, just a basic one column section. And I'll add a block, content block, and I'll choose a highlight box. I'll fill out the fields for the title, the subtitle, and body. Then I'll add media. And I'm going to upload my new highlight box image by clicking choose files. And this went into my downloads. And I will add alternative text. So this is an image of students walking on the WPI campus. And when I click save, this is going to insert it into the Drupal Media library. And then when I click insert selected, here it is in my highlight box. I can also add a link here to either another page on wpi.edu. So let's link to our homepage. Now I get to choose if I would like my media to be displayed on the left side of my highlight box or on the right side. So let's go with the default of the left, and then I have to choose a background color. Let's start with white. And I'll add the block, and I can see that my image is perfectly cropped and resized to fit into the highlight box. And let's save it and see how it looks. And there's my highlight box. So we will send out the PowerPoint for you all to have access to, well, you already have access to these resources. The Drupal image sizes PDF is linked across our Drupal resources on the CMS Help web pages and within the YouTube channel. So yep, we have it for all image needs. So what's next? Okay, now let's switch gears into uploading and linking to a file. So first, I'm going to come into Drupal, and I'm going to go back into our handy dandy file search. And as you saw before, when we went in to add our images and our videos, we also had an option for documents. So I'll click on Add Media, and I'll click Document, such as a document or a PDF. And then from here, I will choose File. And I'm going to upload our Drupal image sizes PDF from my computer. And I can add a description if I'd like. And it could be used as the label to the link of the file. So I'll say this is Drupal image sizes guidelines. And now we'll see that this is published, and I'll click save. And now this has been added to the Drupal Media library. And if I click this link, it'll bring me back into the file editor. When I want to link to a document, I want this link right here that it shows me. So if I click on this one, it's going to open it in a new tab, and it will give me the Drupal website link. So you'll see that it'll have, you'll know that you're using the correct link if you see wpi.edu, sites, in files. So I'm going to copy this link. And then I'll go into my page. And I'll go in the layout and let's see, let's change the link that we have in our highlight box. So I'm going to edit the highlight box by clicking on the little pencil icon and click configure. And I'll come down here and I'll change this URL to the one that I just copied from my PDF. Now I'll click update. And if I click on this link, it brings me to my PDF within the same tab. We also have the option to open our links in a new tab. So if I come back in and I configure my block, I'll click this attributes dropdown right here. And it will say target, and the default is none, and the default will be within the same window. But if I choose new window and update and save my layout, then it will open my PDF in a new window.
So Mariah, is that something that we should just be doing most of the time anyhow, to open the PDF in a new window?
I recommend it. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so I uploaded and I linked to my PDF. So we just showed the highlight box link field. There are a couple other blocks that have that link field built into the block. But say you wanted to link to something from the body text block or from your value proposition in your page, then we would have to hyperlink it. So I will demonstrate that. So let's go into the edit tab to edit our value proposition. Now, let's say I'll say view the Drupal image sizes PDF. So once I have the text that I would like to link to my PDF, I'm going to highlight it. And I'll click on this little link icon right here next to the bulleting options. And I'll paste my URL again. And if I click on advanced is where I can choose to have it open in a new window. So this looks a little bit different. It's just a toggle. And then I'll click the check mark. I'll save my page and test it out. It's very important whenever you're adding a link to anything in your website, external pages, internal pages, PDFs in Drupal, videos, etc. It's very important that you always check that the link works as expected. So it's one, going to the destination that you intended, as well as either opening in a new window, or if it is an internal page, such as another page on wpi.edu, if it's staying within the same window as you expect. So we tested this out. It's opening in a new window. This is the PDF that I want. Everything looks good. So if I go into back in and say I wanted to change it, I'll highlight this again and you can see that this lights up for me. So I can either click this button to unlink it, or I could choose this one to edit the link. So if I click on this little pencil icon, I can change the URL and save it. So that's hyperlinking. The same goes for if you were hyperlinking in any body text or any plain text editor across Drupal. So let's look at another block with a link field, because we did the highlight box, and that's a really common one. Let's go into featured links. Featured links are very common across our site and very important. So if I go into the layout, I'll come back down, I'll add another section. and I'll choose add block, create content block, and I will choose featured links. Featured links are our buttons. So let's say we have our title field that's optional. This is our featured links. And our pre-title, our body. And now we have the options down here for our buttons. So I'm going to link to my Drupal image sizes PDF again, and I'll provide the URL. And it's important that the link text is descriptive of where the link is going. So here's where I will add Drupal image sizes. And again, I have the attributes field, and I will choose the target to go to a new window. And for the featured links, I can choose the button type. So you can see here we have a little hint that tells you that primary means red, secondary means black. So if the default is secondary outlined, that means that this button is going to be outlined black. Or if I choose primary filled, that's going to be a red button. And then I also have the option for background color. Let's keep it white and choose add block. And here's my featured links. So if I save it, I'm of course going to test my link. And there it is, opening in a new tab with my PDF. Now let's go in and add, let's say I wanted to add another link to the featured links. Then I will either choose add another item, or it may already be here. So I have a new option for another link. So say I wanted to link to the marketing communications homepage. So if I start typing marketing communications, I might get a few options. Now I can see down here at the bottom, marketing communications and the marketing communications resources and tools. So let's actually link to the resources and tools page. And again, the link text should be meaningful. So this is okay if it's the same as the name of the page. So it's marketing communications and resources and tools. So for this one, because we're staying within wpi.edu, I'm going to leave it in the same window. And then I'll click update, and I can see my new button. This is of a different style. So this is what it looks like if you had the secondary outline. So I'll save.
I have a quick question.
Yep.
So when you're doing the buttons like that, is there a reason to use red over black or the outline? Should you have them like that, looking like different options, or should they be the same?
I recommend that they're the same. I have seen in some cases that I've seen some pages use, say, if they have 4 featured links, then I'll see a few that are black outlined, and then one that's red if they want it to stand out more. But I personally recommend that they would be uniform. Of course, the red is naturally going to stand out a little bit more. We also have another option that is primary outlined. So if you look at this one, that's red outlined. And if we save it, and when I hover, it will be red filled. Whereas we don't experience the same on the red filled because we already have it filled red. So it just darkens it up a little bit. So yeah, thanks, Julia. I do think that the red is best for a button to stand out the most.
Thanks. Yeah, because it's funny, sometimes, like I'll see one red button at the top, or I'll want to use a red button, and then you don't want to use all red buttons though, right? Because then is that too much, or would that be okay?
Do you mean throughout the whole page or within
Yeah.
the featured link block?
So say I had a featured link block at the top that has one red button, and then maybe I have a couple of other featured links, scattered throughout the page.
Yeah, I think that too many red buttons. It's kind of the same as if you were, you know, if you had a page that was lots of buttons, lots of featured links, and they were all red, I'm not sure that a user would know which to choose. In situations where there's lots of links next to each other, especially if I put many links in one featured link block, then I recommend using the secondary outline, the black outline. But I guess it's kind of the same guidelines as if you were annotating something. And does it help if you highlight every line?
Right.
Um,
Yeah, that's what I was wondering, because it's like, it's nice, it's colorful, it's attention grabbing, but then thinking about the user, I worry that there'd be so much red, so many choices.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
thank you. Thanks.
So yeah, I'm glad that we have 3 different options. Very good points, Julia. I do recommend that if they're next to each other in the same featured links block, that you would choose the same style. All right, so that was another example of using links, and we linked to PDF. We also linked within WPI.edu. So next is file management. File management is very important in Drupal. As Julia mentioned earlier, we do have the option to replace files. This is recommended for files, say that it's a yearly report or something along those lines. It's best to replace one file with a new document than uploading a new file every year, especially if we're not diligent in removing the old file, because then we have different content that could be conflicting across the years. So let's go into the file that we uploaded earlier. Go into file search. And I'll see my file here. I'm the author. And I'm going to scroll over to where it says operations, and I'll choose edit. So this will bring me into the file editor. And then I have this option here to choose a file to replace it with. And then we also have the option to overwrite the original file or not. So if I choose overwrite, that's what's going to keep the same link and the same title of the file. So if you were to use this feature every year, I recommend that you do not include the year in the title of the file, because we would want to keep it the same. Because then if you replace it with the new one, then we'll have the old year in the title of the file. So I'm going to choose a file from my desktop. So here's one that I have saved. And I'll open that up and I'll choose overwrite. And it's important to note that these replacing and removing a file in Drupal does not happen instantly. There's a lot that goes into your browser. So if I saved this and it didn't replace my file automatically, there's no need to worry, because the old file could be just cached in my browser already, or maybe Drupal just needs a little bit of time to really overwrite that file. So if it takes a little bit of time, that's okay. Maybe wait until the next day to see if the file was completely replaced. So for a demonstration, I'm going to check. And oh, that was really fast. Actually, you saw how it switched. So it has overwritten my file. And so using that feature will replace the file anywhere that it's linked. So if you needed to replace a file, but you know you have it linked on a couple of your web pages, maybe an announcement, maybe an event, that's the best way to go about it, so that you're not forgetting about one of the places that you linked the file and it has the incorrect one. That being said, if you are uploading a new file that is intended to replace something else, or if something goes out of date, say we don't need this anymore, it's important to keep track of your files and come in and delete them when they're no longer needed. So you would do it the same way that you would go in to edit it. So right under edit, we also have the option to delete. And so let's see if it lets me delete it. Okay, so I've deleted my file. Any questions or comments about any of the demonstrations?
Thanks, Mariah. I did want to ask too, I think that because I've done this, so just everybody can learn from mistakes of others as well as, the good points. So when you delete one of your PDF files, you should make sure you actually have a copy of that file, right? Because you can't get that back.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So only delete it from Drupal if you're truly sure you want it gone from there.
Thank you. And I also wanted to ask, can you explain a little bit more about the difference between when we would save something and have it open in a new window versus having it just open in wpi.edu? What would be the reasoning for that?
So generally, as we've gone over this a little bit in our other sessions, and it really applies more for if you're linking to web pages. So the general guidelines around it is if you're linking to an external website, such as if I was linking to, I don't know, say something on like something that's not on wpi.edu. I don't know why I can't think of a single other website that exists. But if it were like, okay, say it was your LinkedIn profile, that's going outside of www.wpi.edu. So that you would want to open in a new tab. And as I demonstrated that we can also link within wpi.edu using the way that Drupal will recommend those pages to us. So when I started typing marketing communications, I had a lot of options. And I had the marketing communications homepage, I had the marketing communications resources and tools page. So I chose that one. If you would like that to open in a new window, that's okay. But when it comes to, say you had a few links, say you had 4 buttons in your featured link, and they all opened in a new window in wpi.edu, then a user is going to have 4 wpi.edu tabs open at one time from one short, small experience on your web page. So that's the general guideline around opening it in a new tab if it's external. I do think that if it's a PDF, while it's technically not external, there's nothing on the PDF that's going to naturally navigate the user back to your web page. So if you had something on your web page that was linking to, say, just another page of yours, then they'll be able to go back. Maybe if there's a link on the page or if there's a link in the menu, they're still going to get a wpi.edu experience. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Did I say a lot of words and not say anything really?
No, that makes perfect sense. No, thanks. Because it's interesting to think about, well, why would I have it open in a new window? But that explains it because it's about how the user would find their way back and what they're looking for and how many tabs that have open, that sort of thing. Thank you.
Exactly.
I didn't know if anybody had any questions about, how many photos to use on a page or ways that you can use a couple of different photos without making your page look overwhelming, or does anybody want us to talk a little bit about that at all? Or I know that some people probably have done this a lot and probably know the guidelines and that kind of thing, but we're here if you have any questions about that. Right.
Sorry. It's me, it's Susan. Hold on, I'll turn my video on. If I can. There we go. I just have a quick question. I may have missed it in the beginning, but that sheet that says all the sizes of the files, can you share that with us, or is there a place online we can find that?
Sure. Yeah. We'll share the PowerPoint, but it is also online. So I'll go to, let me go actually into wpi.edu. So if I go to wpi.edu, we have a short URL /+ This is the Drupal landing page for web support. We have a few pages for adding events, announcements, etc. So I think the image sizes is linked under staff and faculty profiles and maybe in a couple other spots. So we have the
I
image
probably wouldn't
sizes.
have looked there. Okay, but I probably looked right at that link and not even realized what that was. So
That's okay.
okay.
Yeah, so it's linked there, and let's see on our YouTube channel. We have the CMS Help Desk YouTube channel where we have a playlist dedicated to so we have sharing news and content. So in sharing news and content, you'll have how to replace a file, how to upload and link to a PDF file, how to add images and videos to your web page. And then under profiles and users, we have how to upload your faculty or staff profile photo. And then that's also where we have a tutorial for how to use the Adobe Express image resize tool.
Okay. Thank you. That was helpful.
Thanks, Mariah. We've got one question too. Nicole asked about can we explain the differences between the different types of images? So the hero image, the highlight box image, how do they know which type of image they'll need to use when in Drupal?
So that's depending on which block that you're going to use, or which feature, because I guess the hero image is not technically a block. But because we have some preset styling and image sizes in Drupal, if I added a hero image that was not the correct size, it may display a little bit wonky. Maybe it'll be a really big square. Whereas we've put these image sizes in place to follow those guidelines so that our pages look uniform. So when we did the highlight box, we went over to see that the highlight box is 500 by 300. But if I uploaded an image that was really large, then it would change the styling of the highlight box. So say if I added something that was more of vertical versus landscape, then that would just make the highlight box styling a little bit off. Because if I added lots of body here, so let's see. If I come into my highlight box and I add some text. So for example, if you added a paragraph in your highlight box, you can see that it lines up really nicely based on the way that the blocks are pre-styled. So that's why we have these image size guidelines in place. So you'll know which one to use depending on which block you want to use. If you are wondering which block you'd want to use, for example, a highlight box you'll use if you want to showcase an image, some text, and maybe a link. You'll use the media pane if you only want an image or only want a video, maybe with its caption, maybe with some intro copy and a title, which are all optional. And the hero image, of course, is always right at the top of your page. Did I answer your question? Great, thanks. So there's actually another option of uploading a video, not a video, an image that I recognize I didn't go into, which is another block option that isn't necessarily, I wouldn't say it's made for images the way that some of the other ones that we've looked at, such as the media pane or the highlight box or the media banner. And that's by adding an image directly into a text editor. So if I had, let's add a block and let's do the body text block. So the body text block is pretty standard. It's just a title, subtitle, and a text editor. So from here, wherever I have a text editor, I can always add an image by using this insert media button right here next to the bulleting options. So again, this is going to open my Drupal Media library. I'll choose an image, maybe that's already in there, and it's going to insert it in the size that I already have. So within our image sizes and also within Canto, you'll see an inline image. So this one is specifically for in the value prop, or we have inline image that's landscape or one that's portrait. So if we follow those guidelines and use the presets from Canto, then those images will look good in when we add them to text editors. Not too large, not too small, but just right.
And you can wrap text around those too, right?
Yep.
For an image.
So this one that I uploaded, what I had saved and sized it for a highlight box. So that's why you can see that they're different. So let's say if I went into Canto and I wanted to save an image, let's choose a slightly different one. And I chose an inline image. So this is inline image portrait. Sorry. It's landscape. These fancy words. What did I say earlier? I said like landscape or vertical. Okay, so I'm gonna save this one using that preset. I'll download it. Now let's upload that into our body text. And I'm gonna insert that into my text editor. Let's add some text. Oh, I don't want the caption. So we also have these options here. If we want it to be, aligned to the left, aligned to the right. I'm having trouble clicking out of it. It could be because I'm in my a different environment than wpi.edu. So let's add it in again. And so that's okay that this can be with text. And this will apply for any text editors across the site. So that's your value prop, body text block, or even if we added something in this text editor, any of them. So yeah, that's another way to add an image. That's really helpful when it comes to announcements. I know that a lot of users like to add a few images into announcements within the text.
Thanks, Maya. Super helpful. I know we are getting close to the end of our time that we had allotted. Does anybody have any questions? Any additional ones? Great. Well, thank you. If anybody does ever end up having questions, just let us know. And we'll be doing this again. We're running the session again in a couple of weeks. So if you didn't learn something that you'd like to, please join us again. We'll be going over the same information, but you never know, there might be something a little bit different, or if you have questions that you want to bring to that would apply to a lot of different people, please do.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks so much, everyone. We appreciate it.
Bye.